to the What a Coach Can Do for You webinar. We are so excited to bring you this webinar that would help you to understand how you can transform your life in a short possible space of time without having to go through years of training, years of reading books, years of figuring out, is this really what I need to do to help me in my life? That's what a coach is for. So, welcome to What a Coach Can Do for You webinar, and we are getting ready to get started.
Yes, I'll come back to you. Then I'll ask, what have we done under the sun?
So, hi again, everyone. My name is Sreshtha Tewari. I am an emotional intelligence coach and healer. And what that means is I help women in leadership, and women in business build a bridge to the life that they want, get them unstuck, get them rid of all those negative emotions that we keep in our hearts, the sadness, the anger, the bitterness, the pain, all of those low frequency emotions. And I'm really happy to join you guys today with my co host, Yashi Carrington, and the rest of my colleagues who you will be introduced. Hi, Yash, how are you?
Hi, Shresh. I am great. I'm really excited to be part of this. I'm so honored that you asked me to be the co-host to this event. I think it's really needed at this time. So I'm really excited.
Yes, yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself for those who haven't been following all the wonderful things that you did.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So my name is Yashi Carrington. I am by profession a chemical engineer, but I discovered the love of coaching over the last two years or so. I have now dubbed myself the PCOS positivity coach, which is PCOS is short for polycystic ovarian syndrome. So all the things that I've learned in coaching and my other things like being a Zumba instructor, I have decided to make that my niche and help other women who have been diagnosed with PCOS and other autoimmune disease really deal with it and learn that they could live their best life and they could stay positive and persevere despite a diagnosis that could really take a toll on your mental and emotional health.
Yes, wow, that it sounds so amazing. And you know what really stands out to me for coaches is that drive to really use the things that maybe have hurt us in our life or have caused us to struggle to really embody and epitomize years of hurt and transform that into a gift for other persons to hopefully not to struggle or to go through as much as you did. And I want to ask you, Yash, what about coaching really changed your world?
Gosh, in so many ways, Trish. Coaching is not something that I thought about in a broader sense than when you hear, a sports coach and these type of things. But when the pandemic started, is really when I discovered the world of coaching, and it was something that I felt in my heart I needed to do so that I had somebody there cheerleading me into becoming the person that I really wanted to be, to really learn the tools that I needed to deal with certain difficulties in life, things like PCOS, but other things in general that I was struggling with. And that really changed everything for me. Like it unlocked a part of me, or it probably unlocked the real me, I should say. Because all the other experiences that I was having in life really kind of put layers and layers on top of me. And I needed somebody who would help me remove those layers and really believe in my potential. And it really changed so much. It put me on this path, and it inspired me to even decide to be a coach myself, because I could have seen the massive impact that a coach can have in your life.
Yeah, and that is so interesting because Yash was actually my first coach when I came into coaching. But she didn't talk about it, but she is a coach with the women's school, a strategist. And I was so enamored with that program because it is all about women and women living an integrated life, which we are not trained to do. Women generally are trained to be an academic, and then somewhere along the line, you're supposed to get married, and everything is supposed to integrate wonderfully, your friendships, your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical health, all the arenas of your life. And we are not really trained to do that. And it is something I always believed, and in following my heart, and in talking to Yash, because we are friends separate from coaching, I had discovered this program that she was teaching, and I was so excited to do the program and then become a coach that I actually started coaching with her. And this is how just following your heart, who are doing things that you are interested in, could really open up a great big door for you, which you're probably not even dreaming of right now, but it is all
So
waiting
true.
there for you. Because you don't know. I mean, if you asked me 2 years ago if I would be doing something like this, I would be like, "What?" I'm not even interested in finding out about how to set up a webinar and how to do streaming and cameras, and it wasn't an interest. But a simple thing like meeting Yash through another thing that we do, Zumba, and just talking to her and having an interest in some of the things she was doing, one of which was coaching, led me to all of these things. And I find, like, for me, the thing with coaching is the space and time in which you could really get something accomplished, as
Mm,
opposed to having to try to figure it out on your own. Because, yes, both of us are academics, right? And people in the academic world believe that we don't need help because we study for years. We paid a lot of
true.
money to study for years. We have a lot of experience, and we feel that, and it's almost the woman thing, like I could figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
But when you really have someone with a different perspective, with different views, and who is trained in order to just bring out, as Yas said in the beginning, the you buried under everybody else's expectations,
Mm,
society, family, it really opens up so much for you
yes.
in your life. So, Yash, I think maybe it's time to bring on our first guest. What do you think?
Yes, I'm so excited. Yes. I can't wait to see everything that these wonderful guests we have today are doing to impact the world. I'm really excited.
Yes, so our first guest is Ruth DeGans. Ruth is an entrepreneur and the founder and CEO of One Life Incorporated, a personal development company geared to help entrepreneurs thrive through holistic living and life balance through their membership and coaching programs. Passionate about their mission of more joy, less stress, Ruth and the One Life team transform the stressed, overwhelmed, and confused to calm, clear, and balanced individuals. Welcome, Ruth. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
We are good.
Good. Good. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. So, we are excited for your presentation. So, we are going to give you this stage. Go ahead.
Okay, sounds great. So, I actually wanted to start this session with a quote from Jim Rohn. And he says, "Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change." So, what inspires someone to change? Some might say it's an inspirational person, or a place or some event that has happened. And while this might be true, what I have found is that many of us seek change when our backs are against the wall or we've hit rock bottom. When things get so challenging, we have no choice but to seek help. So for me, my big catalyst for change was my teen pregnancy. Straight out of high school, no job, no degrees, in a time and in a society where this was very much frowned upon and considered disgraceful. We had no direction and no life skills. And to be very honest, we were quite dysfunctional at the time. But one thing we did know was that we needed to be better for our child. This was where I happened to stumble upon this treasure that I call personal development. And for me, this was such a priceless find because seeking and unlocking this treasure has made an entire 180 in my life. So for the next few days, I did just like what these lovely ladies were talking about earlier. I sought out books, mentors, courses, and I studied everything from business to personal development to parenting and relationships because I was so driven to become this better person because I really wanted to be a better parent. So within the first few years, we opened our first two businesses, we got married and settled down, and I took on these new roles as a new wife, mother, business owner, and homemaker. And what happened next? Well, usually people expect a happily ever after, but the truth is, I kind of crashed and burned. You know, how many of us have felt overwhelmed with all the things we have to do in life? Maybe you're the main breadwinner in your home, or you're a single parent. Maybe you're an entrepreneur that's busy 24/7 just trying to get it all done. Many of us have so much on our plate that we're trying to juggle that when we're focusing on one part of our life, it seems that the others start to give. So, in trying to be superwoman and do it all, I spent the next few years suffering from panic, anxiety, overwhelm, and a lifestyle related health condition. Life balance was my biggest challenge. And so, what I did was, I went back to my personal development treasure, to my books and my mentors and my courses of study, just to try and figure a way out. So, One Life Incorporated was created from these decades of struggle and finding solutions. What was once my greatest struggle has now become my passion and a source of strength that I draw on to help me in the different areas of my life. I think one of the things is that I find it very hard to see people struggle. I'm sure many of you can identify with that, coaches in particular. And I think especially when you feel like you've gone through an experience and you feel like you can help those people, see them through faster and in an easier way, be there to support and guide them, I think that is really where the source of amazing coaching comes from. So what does all of this mean to you? Chances are, if you haven't already, you will find yourself at some point in life juggling many different balls. And each of these balls is so important, you don't want to let any of them drop. One might be your health. And we don't want to drop this ball because we need our health to create our wealth and to take care of our family and relationships. And we don't want to drop our wealth because this helps us to take care of our health and our family. And finally, we don't want to drop our relationships because, well, without family, our friends, and our loved ones, we run the risk of facing the greatest poverty in this world, which, according to Mother Teresa, is loneliness. So here are a couple of things that I realized. Number one, the quality of our lives is not made up of any one thing. It's made up of a number of things, and each of these things affect the others. What good is our wealth if we don't have the health to enjoy it? According to one wise man, you don't want to be the richest person in the graveyard. On the other hand, does being healthy make up for miserable relationships? No, it doesn't. In fact, research proves that emotional trauma that can stem from relationships has a direct impact on our physical health. And finally, how well can we provide for our loved ones if we lack basic wealth? You know, many of us have grown up being told that money is the root of all evil. And this potentially sabotages our perspective of having a healthy money mindset. So for most of us, money allows us to survive by helping us afford our basic needs and more. So you see, these are all pieces of a puzzle that are integrated and work together. The second thing I realized is that life balance is unique for each person. Whether you're a business professional, a monk, a stay-at-home parent, a single entrepreneur, or someone who just juggles it all, the life balance journey is different for every one of us. But even though it's different, the elements required are still the same. We can all benefit from taking care of our health, physically, mentally, and emotionally. We can all benefit from healthy relationships and a thriving community. We can all benefit from the skills needed to secure a financially sound living. So one of the greatest benefits for us as a company is having access to our team of professionals. It means we don't have to spend a lot of time figuring things out, and we can get various professional insights into how the different areas of life balance look for different individuals. The third thing I realized is that life balance is not something we achieve. It's something that ebbs and flows, something we feel on top of things sometimes, and other times we feel totally overwhelmed. But this is why it's important that we have a framework and develop specific life skills to know how to get back on track when we get thrown off our horse. So, just to summarize these 3 points again: one, the quality of our lives is not made up of any one thing, it's made up of a number of things, and each of these things affect the others. They're all integrated. Two, life balance is unique for each person. The life balance journey is different for all of us, but even though it's different, the elements required are still the same. And three, life balance is not something we achieve. It ebbs and flows, and that's why we have a framework and develop specific life skills to know how to get back on track. So if you're interested in learning more about what these areas are, what I can do is I can send you a free link for a free download that includes our specific framework and the 7 different areas we address. If you'd like more than that, we're also building a free community where members can pop in, ask questions, and get support. At One Life, we offer one-on-one coaching, as well as we have a membership where we partner with different professionals to help you on your own life balance journey. Or if you're a professional, we give you additional tools and resources to help your clients. What we do is we take this aerial view of life balance, and then we break these life balance areas down into small, actionable steps that we plug into your calendar and we make into habits in your everyday life. So, for example, let's say you've decided that your relationships is the first area you'd like to focus on. We may decide to schedule in a weekly or a bi-weekly date for you and your partner, or you and your child. We let you know the do's and don'ts for these dates and how you can heal and nurture these relationships moving forward. Once you've got this first thing under your belt, we can then move on to the next step in your journey. And this is kind of how we go. We build from there and we start building this solid foundation. We'll help you assess where you are, where you'd like to be. We'll design a plan of how to get you there and then journey with you through the necessary steps to get you to your goals. So at the end of the day, though many people wait till things are totally out of control before seeking help, this treasure of personal development advocates otherwise. If we can be proactive and work on ourselves and our lives before things start to crumble, well, then we can ensure success in so many areas and save ourselves a lot of trouble along the way. Additionally, the good news is we don't have to spend decades figuring these things out. We can learn from others that have been there and studied these things to speed up our progress. At One Life, our motto is more joy, less stress. And through our membership and coaching, it's our personal mission to help as many people as we can learn the life skills to create life balance and live better quality lives. So we'll help you walk through your own life balance journey one step at a time with our specific framework and the combined expertise of our pros. Our programs are designed to help facilitate your success. So if you're interested, please feel free to check out our website at onelifeaccess.com to learn more about us, get access to our free resources, and hear what our clients have to say. We love serving our clients and getting their feedback. Additionally, for every sign-up and session, free or paid, it's our company policy to donate meals to those in need around the world. Because, we understand that sometimes people will do more for others than they'll do for themselves, and we encourage this type of collaboration and contribution in our community. So for those of you on this webinar, I would also like to offer you a free 20-minute discovery call and consultation. So today, 3 freebies here for you are: 1, the Life Balance 101 PDF, answering the top questions about life balance and revealing the 7 different areas we want to be looking at. 2, access to our free community where we want to answer your questions, connect, and offer support. And 3, a 20-minute free consultation to see if there's anything we can help you with on your life balance journey. If any or all of these things speak to you, please send an email to info@onelifeaccess.com. We would love to hear from you. So I would like to wrap this session up with another quote from Jim Rohn. He says, "Work harder on yourself than you do on your job." And the reason for this is when we get into the habit of working on ourselves, it filters down and affects the success in all areas of our lives. So thank you so much for your time. You guys have been incredible. Ladies, thank you again for having me. And congratulations for being here and making steps to improve your life. I hope to see you guys all again sometime in the very near future.
Yash, you're on mute.
Whoops. Thank you, Ruth. That was so great what you shared. There's so many things there that I want to touch on. I love the quotes. Life does not get better by chance, but by change, which completely, I know that Trish and I can resonate with that. Um, and you said so many things that, Shreya and I probably have different terminology for it, but it's really what we stand by. I love your points because the quality of your life is definitely made up of different things. We are really all about living that integrated life because, as you said, you need everything. And the unfortunate thing, at least in our culture at least, is that we were never taught those things. We were taught usually to focus on one area. If it's academics, sometimes when you become a mother, it's like, you focus on that alone and you forget your dreams and forget about your relationships. But you really need to have all of those things. um, you need to pay attention to those things to really have a great quality of life. And as you said, life balance is unique to each person, which I love because I think too many times we try to compare what somebody else is doing and think we're supposed to be doing the same, but it's really, really unique to each person. And your last point in terms of that it ebbs and flows. I really want people to really get that because we can't be perfect. We can't be 100% all the time. You have to understand the different seasons. But as Ruth said, once you have the framework and once you build those skills, then it makes things a little bit easier. You're a little more compassionate with yourself when things are maybe not going exactly as you thought it would. But those things are so very helpful. So just again to Shreya, before I give back the contact and the freebies, what stood out to you from what Ruth shared?
Oh, well, you touch on everything that would strike me, but I really love her last quote too. Work harder on your life than your job because we really have been trained to kill ourselves in our job and think we're going places. And I can tell you for sure, I know that's not true now. You know how we grew up, especially the academics, being told you have to burn the midnight oil and being pressured to do it all if you're a mom and if you're a wife and if you have a job. There
Hmm.
is so much pressure on the woman to keep her home in order, to be a good mother to her children, to be a good friend, to be a good wife and an intimate partner, and yet to rule the career world. And we are really trained to feel that if the ground, we're going places. And this is so completely untrue because you are really doing yourself a disservice. So that is really what stood out to me, Yash, because it is something, as you know, I passionately believe in just living your life every day, loving every moment and not feeling it's a hustle, being totally soaked up in the love of your job, if you have a job, in the love of your partner, in the love of your children, in the love of your friends, being
Mm.
happy towards your health. So that is really what stood out to me.
No, thanks, Trace. I really like as you put it like that. It touched me even further. Just to really be present and to enjoy life. That's what it's really about. So, just to reiterate some of the things that Ruth has so generously shared to the persons who are here on the webinar, be sure to check out her website at www.onelifeaccess.com. You can check out there to get their free 20-minute consultation, the PDF for the top questions about life balance. And so, if you're interested in those things, definitely email them at info@onelifeaccess.com. As she said, they do offer one-on-one coaching and membership, but you can use your freebies to get an idea of, how it would feel, what the information is. And so definitely check up with them because as she said, you have to be proactive before things start to crumble. And I really 100% endorse that. Yes, sometimes the change comes when you have your back against the door, as she said. But if you can be proactive, then you're really one step ahead. So just sharing that with you and passing it back on to the lovely Shresh.
Okay, thanks, Yash. So we are going to move on to our next speaker now, who would be Alicia. Yash, you want to go ahead with the introduction?
Sure. So it's so great to welcome Miss Alicia Garcia Pedro. Alicia's experiences as a wife and mother, while also building a career as a banker over the past 21 years, has afforded her many opportunities to fail forward. In doing so, she has learned ways to find balance between doing her best work all around while still taking time to nurture self. This has been the driving force behind her passion to teach and empower others to build a healthy and balanced lifestyle. Alicia is of the belief that becoming the best version of ourselves requires taking care of our whole selves. As our health and mental well being improves, it impacts the other areas of our life positively. As a Maxwell Leadership Certified Coach and a nutrition and fitness coach, self care is at the forefront of her mentoring and coaching sessions. She views this as a fundamental practice for persons seeking to grow into the best version of themselves personally and for becoming inspiring leaders. Oh, I love that. Welcome, Alicia.
Thank you. Thank you so much to be here. It's my absolute pleasure to join you all this afternoon. You all have shared so far from your own personal experience and same language. And what's beautiful is that I heard it over and over again. What we have embarked on for coaching has come from our experiences. We had to fight, things we had to learn the hard way, and now to share and coach with others so that, well, it's a much easier journey. I really appreciate the value that collectively coaching brings. Yeah.
Yes, so true, Alicia. So I'm gonna leave you to take the floor and share with the audience, your type of coaching and what you can offer.
Okay. So what I'm leadership coach, and because it marries two things on the lifestyle side of things, I'll tell you from my own experience. I grew up on a great bunch of us grew parenting is a sacrifice. So I grew up in that culture. My kids, pretty early as well, at 21, my first son, all about him. And then 2 years later, I had my second son. I have my daughter. And so I became completely considered being that role of a mother that I thought that's the way it has to be. You have self-sacrifice in order to take care of the kids that you love so much, and bring into grew up into adults. Um, but I saw a lesson that um, you have to take care of your others, whether it's your loved ones, whether it's your parents, whether kids. In there, managing requires you to take care of you and then take care of others. So the word sacrifice kind of term, I knew what it meant to commit to taking care of my family. Slowly learn tough lessons along the way, what it meant to take care and to lead self. And it doesn't happen by chance. I had to work. I had some hard lessons because we always learn from hard lessons, but I had to read and I had to learn about emotional intelligence. I had to surround myself with persons who had similar experiences me in my own experiences to be able to learn, a good parent, a good mother, to seeking what goals I need to for my career, show up, and I build a lifestyle that allows me to do all. So, fast forward to now, my kids are pretty grown, at 18 going on 19, and my youngest is a girl. And has the work reduced? No, Is it still a man's? But again, it was a journey in learning. Sometimes the first lead is yourself. And what did that mean? It meant taking care of self, deciding how am I going to take care of myself. I don't have time to do that. I have a full-time job. I have 3 marriage. I have family. How on earth am I going to do that? But I did find an avenue through fitness. So that became my thing. And that made fitness help me to be able to, I think it helped me to show up differently. But it also helped me to carve out time that I won't readily submit to, because I had to put everyone first. Got into a habit, or I started to build healthy lifestyle habits around out. It started first by simply running, not a big time run or anything, but 15 minutes to 20 minutes to run. That was my thing. So, and I realized the difference it made on how I showed up for everyone else. And then, of course, when you come across a good thing, there's no stopping it. So while I had a full-time career, I discovered this thing about me takes time, and it could be done. So I branched out off into I show up for myself in terms of my nutrition, because you could focus on but if you're not taking care of yourself, your nutrition, it's you. So that was the other thing I started learning about, and that's why I'm now a certified nutrition. Just loving the discovery of how do I build a healthy lifestyle. The key part in determining how I show up for my work, for my family. So my coaching really started with that little passion that I did, and nutrition. But while I'm doing all that and take care of me, and while I'm learning to raise a family, I still had my career, right? That I felt good about, that I also want in my best self. I wanted to show up as a professional. I want intelligence. I'm leading persons. I'm a manager for persons. I have to lead by example. I had to take care of personal problems that I had far back. Kids, career, demands of work, all of that. So I now had a desire to show up as a better leader. And I took much of what I learned, fitness, things that helped me, nutrition, and I carried at work. And like I mentioned in my bio, lead is yourself. That's the first person, right? So that's what I had to do. I had to decide how did I want to show up? How did I want to how could I pour into my team? I can inspire, motivate, and support if I am tired, can't deal with crisis, not emotionally. So I invested a lot of time in that part of thing, deciding the type of leader I wanted to be. That's my journey into becoming a John Maxwell coach, learning about, but realizing that part of it is self-development. My could be prioritized so that I could become the best leader that I and pursuing the goals that I needed in my career. And so I was pouring into a team, tapping into all things that I was learning, recalling things that didn't work as an employee, things that didn't work. Quickly decided where I wanted to be, what I didn't want to do, and And that's where my leadership coaching started. I persons to understand that the true meaning of leadership, it's being a servant leader as well, but the best performance or the best effort you get from your team is when you lead of caring, place of really persons on the team. I mean, there's so many things, there's so many theories on leadership. It's come down to leading with care. And together, how am I able to do all of this, and why I feel it's so important others on it is because me finding how to show up as my best self-care, how to lead myself, enable me help others, help my family, help my kids, build long and inspire others. And right there, in spite of fulfilling a career goal, you was fulfilling a passion for teaching persons how to take care of themselves in the process. So I didn't have to. It was not exclusive to persons who I would. It was not exclusive to persons who were on my team, and I had to lead. Got the same benchmark. I wanted to teach you how to take care of yourself. I want you to learn how to lead first, then help give you the skills that help you to move on to lead. Yeah, I know that's a lot, but I hope I'm able to passion and that value that I want to provide. Because at some point I had the benefit, like I said, I had the benefit of what gone through circumstances and experiences that I was able to, whether it was physical fitness, whether it was parenting, whether relationship building. I had persons in my coach too, and that's the value that coaching brings, and that's the value that to others as part of what I do every day. One thing I want to do too, I'm saying this because one of the things that more current persons I've learned along the way, mothers particularly, I've built a network where I'm teaching persons how to move, and I call it Superwoman Sunday. It's a HIIT workout, right? Training. It's 45 minutes. It happens every Sunday. It's a online coaching, and it simply means we get together on a Sunday at such how immensely easy it is to move, just to build the activity. That came from a place of having persons who I would coach. I would, women, career women especially, you so focus on goals that you eat, how you move, those things get a bit sidelined. So session with someone, and we would go through their goal might be about nutrition, and I realized there isn't quite that balance. There's no movement. When was the last? Why is it so hard to run up the staircase at work? Why must you take the elevator? I started to point to that group of persons a bit differently, where, ladies, let me show you how easy it is for you to move. No equipment, no gym membership. How do we get moving? How do we build endurance, build stamina, do something that's fun, and then get that good feeling of having that comes. Yeah, you might feel a little pain as you start, but after that, the feeling on that workout, it goes a long way. It goes a long way for setting up your day week. So that Superwoman Sunday Club and community that I've created, it's 2 years, and at the start, I kicked it off in March 20, to February 2020 specifically. And like I said, group of persons who I knew, I was providing coaching, nutrition coaching, sliding on the physical side of it. So I said, ladies, let's meet location on every Sunday at 6 a.m. If it took half hour, it was always how. Let's build this habit. You want to build a healthy lifestyle? Let me show you how easy this is. Get past this blocker on physical activity. And so it started. And then the pandemic, I was stuck for a while, navigate online. I knew nothing about Zoom. I was not an online coach, up and physical movement together and after. But it was cautiously, and it's been a thriving community since then. Consistently, I tell them, I show up, you show up. All I need is that commitment. The cross-sectional ladies, I would say it's, but anyone is invited. At the end of the day, we don't do difficult workouts. I'm not going to do burpees, but we're going to get the heart rate up. The workout in 45 minutes. So that's my Superwoman Sunday. Everyone to participate in, or even if you are not ready. And that is just the only one aspect of how you commit to start showing up for yourself, right? To start showing up for yourself. That's just part of the journey.
Yes, so Alicia, thank you so much. You spoke on a broad range of things. I was trying to keep up.
Oh,
Um,
gosh.
but I love what you said about taking care of your loved ones taking care of you before you take care of others. And before I toggle you off, I just want to ask you one persons wanted to join your Superwoman Sundays, how would they join that?
I can share my number, but me on Instagram at Alicia Garcia Pedro, at Alicia, and you DM me. We could connect like that, and then I can share the link, and the recordings are available. Let's say you miss a Sunday, but you're a consistent member. I have a group, and we connect on that page, Facebook page, and we keep in you get in contact with me via Alicia Garcia Pedro. I'll be sure to message you and make sure that you're on.
And is the Garcia Pedro hyphenated or is it straight Alicia Garcia Pedro?
Alicia Garcia. Yeah,
Straight?
just
Okay.
Alicia Garcia
Okay.
Pedro.
I just
No hyphen.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure. So thank you so much, Alicia, for sharing with us your experiences on which led you to coaching, moving through leadership, moving through and finding things that you can add to your routine that really made you a better person, which led to your love of fitness and learning to help persons after finding fitness, even taking courses in terms of nutrition coaching in order to really give a well-rounded package to your persons on Superwoman Sundays. Yash, is there anything you would like to add?
Yeah, just to add to what you just said, what I loved about what Alicia said was that she used her experiences and the skills that she learned along her journey to really build this holistic side of coaching. And something she said that stood out was that when she started with fitness, it helped her to show up differently. And then it kind of forced her to carve out the time for herself. And I just feel like that's something that coaching kind of helps with too. Not kind of, it really does, because when you have that accountability, it's like you show up and it forces you to show up differently. And even if it is as uncomfortable at first, eventually it becomes something, that you realize that you need, and it helps you to develop. So I really love that she shared that. And something else she said, and it's to kind of to add to your point, Shreya, she said, how can I inspire, motivate, and support if she can't handle crisis, if she can't be emotionally insightful and those things? And I think sometimes we think it's the other way around. We think we need to really point to other people before we point to ourselves, but logically, it just doesn't make sense. You really would get depleted. So I really wanted to touch on those two points that she raised as well.
Yes, thank you so much, Yash. And so now we are going to move on. And if you're getting tired, don't worry, we maybe might dance just now. We're going to move on to a mind, body, and EverQuote certified Dr. Arlene Wright. Dr. Arlene Wright is a Mind Valley and EverQuote certified whole body coach. She is a certified neurotransformation coach with Elite Coaching University. She is the best selling author of Living a Life of Bliss, which is available on Amazon. So if you don't have it, make sure you go get it now. And her niche is women entrepreneurs trying to grow a successful business. So, welcome to Arlene. How are you today?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Sreshtha. I'm so excited about this. Thank you so much for inviting me. So, I actually help, and I'm very passionate about helping women entrepreneurs to grow a successful business while having fun and balance in their lives. So, I help them to get rid of all the limiting blocks that is preventing them from stepping into their purpose and living the life of their dreams. I do so by taking them through a transformational process. It involves embodiment tools and practices, and they're able to face their fears, have more visibility, have more certainty and confidence, and they're able to take action towards their goals every single day. So, what exactly is a neurotransformational coach? Well, transformation is a true change. It doesn't just help clients cope with their problems, it helps them to clear the problems so they have better, more permanent shifts in their behavior. So, the transformation is actually like the caterpillar going into a butterfly. The caterpillar gobbles up all those leaves and it takes everything from nature, and then it goes into a chrysalis. And then this beautiful butterfly comes out, and the butterfly helps pollinate the earth. So it actually gives back to nature. So it's actually a true change. So with transformation, we actually help clients to go within into their own humanity and bring about that the changes that they so need. Now, a lot of times the beliefs we have, things like we are not good enough, that I don't love myself, I'm not worthy, a lot of those beliefs, they're actually formed below 6 years old. So a lot of adults are like walking around the planet with toddler belief systems, and it's acting like an on-off switch for like everything we do. So what a transformational coach does, it helps these clients to go within, to go back into what's actually causing their anger and their pain and their suffering, to be able to heal so that they can move forward and really step into their purpose. Now, when I was just like 10 years old, I remember this was my very first day in class in a brand new school. I had to travel far to get there. And I was suddenly woken up with a teacher shouting out my name. And I saw all the children turn around and look at me. And I realized I fell asleep in class. And I was so embarrassed. I felt like just sinking through the floor. And that incident made me grow up saying that I was shy and I really didn't want visibility, especially talking in front of a camera. A few years ago, you wouldn't find me doing this. But with so much growth and learning, I had my own coaches. I was able to break through that glass ceiling. And I'm so excited because I've learned so much. I am able, I'm actually able to help others to break through those glass ceilings and become the new level of themselves. They're able to deal with anything that comes their way. Like any challenges, they're able to deal with it so much better. Sometimes all these challenges happen because there's a little lesson to learn from them. So if we look at challenges like a stepping stone, we look at what is it actually teaching us, we are able to just use that information and use it as a stepping stone to what we should do differently and what we should do better. So sometimes challenges come our way, and it's for us to determine what it's trying to teach us. So a transformational coach really helps and it supports someone on their journey. It's not like an instant fix. A lot of people need that support going along on their journey. So, in terms of the emotional aspect, a lot of people bury their emotions. They just don't want to deal with it. They don't understand it. And some people get angry, but they don't realize that underneath the anger, there's some fear. Underneath that fear, there's some issue being stifled for a very long time. And it's similar to trying to hold a beach ball underneath the water. So that beach ball doesn't want to stay there, it wants to come up. And can you imagine using all your energy to hold that beach ball underwater? What if you just release it, let it come up, and use all that energy we're using to hold that beach ball there, use it to create happiness, to create a better life, more freedom. So a coach actually helps clients to be in touch with what is really bothering them and help them to clear it and release it, get rid of all those stumbling blocks so they're actually able to live their true life. Now, in terms of the health coaching, I also did a health coaching certification. And you heard from Alicia, it's really important to move your body. So, what I do on the health coaching side, I'm able to help my clients to actually establish their goals and be able to hit those goals with their whole fitness and energy and nutrition. So, what I encourage them to do is to fulfill the 7 chronic health lifestyle needs. What are those? Those are things that are really important for our longevity. And those 7 things, the first thing is having some form of inner stillness. So it's like your meditation, your mindfulness, journaling. And I encourage them to do a little of that first thing in the morning before they step out for their day. A lot of people say they can't meditate, they can't keep their mind quiet, too many thoughts are coming in. So, what I teach them is a more active form of meditation. So, it's like a little gratitude practice, a little forgiveness exercise, filling up with compassion and love for yourself, for everyone around you. And I teach them tools to visualize their day going well so that they flow with all their goals, with their whole life. And the more they practice it, the more your days just seem to flow. Any challenges come up, you end up doing so much better with them. So, in addition to the mindfulness, the exercise So Alicia was talking about exercise. It's so important, but a lot of people underestimate the power of walking. If you walk between 7,000 and 9,000 steps a day, and that's just like walking around your house, walking outdoors, walking around your office, that is associated with longevity. Less than 7,000 steps is associated with chronic disease. So try and get some watch or app and count those steps every day. Also, if you're sitting at a desk for at least an hour, after an hour, your metabolism drops 90%. So I encourage clients, if you're at a laptop, you're sitting for a long time, just get up and do some stretches, walk around, do a few little runs on the spot, some little jumping jacks, just to break that sedentary lifestyle. You don't necessarily have to go to a gym every day, but the nice thing about putting on some muscle mass, doing a little weight training, is that muscles actually build more bone density. So that's important as you get older. A lot less falls in the older population. Muscles actually support your joints. They help take up excess sugar in your system. Now, excess sugar is responsible for a lot of inflammatory problems, and that's the root cause of all chronic disease. So the muscles actually take up that excess sugar as glycogen, and that's a real help for your system. And muscles are also correlated with longevity. So all the more reason, get some form of weight training in there. So there's so many different forms of exercise, but walking, running, even taking a walk, doing a little weight training, do what really feels good for you, but try and move your body every day. Even if it's just a little few steps, whatever you do, try and keep that movement going. Now, the third one is nutrition. And Alicia also spoke about nutrition. It's so important to have whole foods, to at least have a minimum of, we can try at least 5 servings of fruits and veggies a day. It's nature's powerhouse of nutrition, all the minerals and vitamins your body really needs. But in terms of the nutrition, I touched on the sugar issue. There's so much sugar in all those products on the shelves that are really hidden. And a lot of people who consume too much sugar, what it does, it encourages the growth of bad bacteria in your gut. And what that does, it causes holes to be punched in your gut wall. So what happens is you have more toxins going into your bloodstream, bigger particles of food, and you have a huge immune response. And that's the basis of chronic disease. So try and limit that sugar intake. It's really important. And there's some people also do intermittent fasting, which is really good. It helps your body to repair and heal while you sleep. Not having a big meal just before you sleep, more energy is used to repair your system. So the fourth one is having a sound sleep. It's so important having a good sleep. It reduces chronic inflammation. It gives you much more energy. It helps digestion, and you have much better clarity, mind clarity the next day to continue with your goals. So it's so important. But we are all guilty of having some kind of screen in the night, either your phone or your laptop. Try and limit that and close off at least half an hour before you sleep, because blue light gives you a much lighter sleep. So try and come off of those screens. Certainly don't pick up your phone in the middle of the night and look at messages. It really interrupts your sleep. Also try and keep your room cooler, darker. As I said, have a lighter meal at dinner. And make sure you're getting consistent, regular, and good quality sleep. The fifth one is just being in nature. Nature replenishes your soul. So even if you have evening tea outdoors, you go for a little run, go for a walk, do activities with your family outdoors, try and always spend some time in nature. And be curious. Look at the birds, the trees, the flowers. Just enjoy nature. The other one is having deep social connection. What that does, it really helps your whole emotional and mental well-being. So always think about three people who always have your back. This could be like friends, like family, but always have that deep connection with someone. And the seventh one is having a purpose for living. It's been shown that people who have a purpose for living take care of themselves better. So I help clients and I guide them on their whole health and fitness journey. And I try to encourage them on all these seven chronic health lifestyle needs to make sure that they're doing it each day. A lot of people go from diet to diet, and it's just so easy to have a coach to really help and guide and support you on your journey. So, anyone needing more information or need to contact me, I'm willing to offer a free 30-minute consultation, and we can see what your needs are and whether you're a good fit for having a coach to support you on your journey. So, I'm saying bye for now. I love you all. Thank you for listening. Take care.
Thank you so much for everything that you shared, Arlene. I so many wonderful nuggets in there that you shared. Everything you said is really things that helped me my journey. Sleep, nature, social connection, purpose for sure, nutrition, all the other things you shared. Some of the things that really stood out to me from what she shared, Shresh, was that in her coaching specifically, she works on removing limited blocks, and we call it limiting beliefs, right? And sometimes it's only when you start working with somebody who's asking you the questions that you need to ask yourself is realize, like, wait, I have this block here that I didn't really think about, and it's affecting so many parts of my life. And something she said in terms of she helps persons face their fears and also learn to have more visibility and take more action. And that really resonated with me because in my own coaching experience, I started to take action because of that coaching. And it's something I realized that this is something that past Yashi wouldn't have done. And the last thing I want to touch on that she shared was about bearing your emotions, which is something that I started working through this year, especially, is that sometimes you really, and we haven't really been taught how to deal with our emotions properly. And you really start to stifle a lot of things. And that can cause this pattern in you where sometimes something triggers you and you don't even realize it, but it's because an emotion that you have suppressed and it caused this pattern or this trauma to you that is coming up because of the situation. But if you, and she used the beach ball analogy because it really is like that. It's so exhausting to try to put a beach ball under the water when you could really just set it free and use that energy to be more joyful, to show more gratitude, and all the other things that she shared today. So I really loved everything that she shared. What about you, Shresh?
Yeah, it was so much information. I felt like we got a condensed capsule of everything that we need to just live an awesome, healthy life. So I will just talk about two things where she spoke about when she was 10, hearing the teacher call her name and then seeing everybody staring at her
Hmm.
and feeling, but she didn't say feeling ashamed, but she had fell asleep. And the thing is, for me, like, we don't realize how much experiences that we have that may seem small or minute affect us into our childhood. Now, she didn't call it shame, but I would interpret that as she felt a bit about a shame, or maybe she was made wrong for falling asleep in class, and
Hmm.
that affected her propensity to be visible and to be able to speak in front of people. And I actually had a client with a similar experience where she was in preschool and she was talking, and the teacher made her put on a duncy cap and stand up in the corner. And for years, she wasn't able to speak and present at meetings. And she came to me for an emotional healing session. And after that, she was able to present. And I really don't think we understand how things we maybe forget about
Hmm.
from when we were small, how much it affects us into our adult life and how much it could actually be preventing us from living a life. Because look at Ali now. She's presenting,
You
she's
never
good with
think
the
that.
camera. Yeah, so I mean it's so important, and I love that she spoke about that. The other thing that stood out to me, because I'm really into chronic disease on an energetic level, is talking about how less than 7,000 steps a day can lead to chronic disease. And Arlene, I'm not sure if we said it in the beginning, but Arlene is also a doctor. She's a renowned orthodontist. So you could tell she knows her medical information. But little things like this, I mean, we are not taught these things in school. We are not care of ourselves. We are not taught about what is important for you to live a healthy life. And as I said in the beginning, we are taught to kill yourself. And if you burn in the midnight oil, you're on the right track, which we know is wrong. So Yash, those are really the things that it was a lot, but I'm just choosing those two to talk about.
Yes,
That
and
stood out to me.
be sure to email Arlene at the life of bliss journey at gmail.com if you want to have that 30-minute consultation. I suggest you do. So check that out and check out the website. That was www.livingalifeofbliss.com.
Yes, and we forget to say, in between, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to post it in the chat. We'll be addressing all questions at the end. So, Yash, I feel like we need to get up and stretch a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, especially after all she shared just now. It's like, okay, need to get some steps in.
Are you hearing the music?
Yes.
All right, so let's get up. This is our mid-time dance. Woo!
Oh gosh, I hide my degree. Come on, guys, get your steps in.
Yes, it's good to shake off from sitting down. We're sitting down for an hour now.
Right?
All right. Okay, so let's see who we have next, Yash. Let me check back my phone. Serious multitasking. See, my laptop nearly fall down.
Ridiculous.
All right, and next song, come on. You think that's a sign?
Full class.
All right. Okay. So next we actually have a fit Kareen Farmer. Kareen Farmer is an ex-business systems analyst turned fitness coach and the owner and founder of Suspension Bell Fitness. Kareen started as a fitness enthusiast with a corporate career after receiving 600 plus hours of hands-on in the gym training. She joined the fitness industry part-time at her current place of employment, where she taught lunch break fitness classes. This fueled her desire to serve in a much bigger way. Since opening Suspension Bell Fitness, she has worked with many women in their homes, in the gym, and online, bringing about not just the physical changes, but the mental changes desired by her students. She is really passionate about guiding students who feel powerless over their bodies through the process to the point of feeling physically and mentally strong, sexy, and confident. Her fitness work has been the most rewarding work she has ever done and will continue to do so as long as her students continue to trust her. Her greatest achievement to date includes facilitating getting a diabetic client off of insulin. So, welcome to the program, Kareen. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. I almost didn't make it here, but I'm glad to be here.
Yes, we had a mix up in communication, but
Woo!
we believe
Yes,
in the universe and we go with the flow. So, the
of
flow is
course,
yours,
of course.
Kareen.
Thank you so much, Sreshtha.
You're welcome.
So, as a personal trainer, I mean, I'm here and I've seen so much health information concerning exercise and nutrition shared here already. So I don't want to be repetitive. So what I'm going to share today is mostly just we've seen already that there are three main broad types of coaching, which is life coaching, business coaching, and sport coaching. And just to kind of gain a sense of where I fit into the whole scheme of things is sport coaching, because fitness, personal training in particular, belongs under the umbrella of sport coaching. But I do in trying to address what coaching can do for you. I would like to share the fact that I've experienced all of these types of coaching in my own life, and I feel like it would inspire persons to um, get coaching because they will get to see the benefits of all the different types of coaching. All right. So first of all, I'm going to share what life coaching has done for me in the past. I had been in a situation where I was in my marriage. My marriage was basically falling apart, and I became very stuck emotionally, not really being able to make a decision about whether it is I should stay in the marriage or whether I should move forward with getting a divorce. And I basically pretended that that problem didn't exist for a very long time. And I sought coaching in order to try to sort myself out because I felt like I wasn't able to do it on my own. And I met a life coach who was basically able to help me identify basically what was really holding me back from making a decision, getting clarity around what it is I wanted and what kind of life I wanted to live and what kind of partner I wanted, and basically allowing me to release the emotions of mostly fear and doubt, self-doubt surrounding whether I could raise my child by myself, whether it is that I could basically live a life on my own. Because I mean, being in a marriage for so long, you tend to be very scared about making a change towards single life. And that coach was able to help me make a decision, get clarity around that decision, and release the fears of being able to move forward in my life, which was eventually deciding to get a divorce. And that made me grow and change in ways that I can't even list the amount of ways that I was able to change, how that changed my life. Um, and then later on in life, the second exposure I had to life coaching was the transition from working in a corporate environment where I had a boss and I had what in my mind was a secure job, and basically, feeling very, very unhappy and unfulfilled in that job, and being able to, it was more a case of, again, being stuck, just not being able to make a decision about, oh, so I know that I hate my job and I don't know what to do about it. And it just so happened that the universe said, hey, you don't like this job. We know you don't like this job. But I had the foresight from a coach to start preparation for leaving, even though I didn't know how I was going to adopt that. And I started preparation to join the fitness industry, and I didn't know what was going to happen in the future. And then eventually, after I got my qualifications to become a personal trainer, it just so happened that I lost my job. So it was so well timed because I was able to just jump into my new career because I was already fully prepared. And without having a life coach to be able to help me release the fears of going abroad, spending 5 months away from my child, leaving her, hey, I had a whole bunch of fears around jumping into that arena of making that switch. And without that life coach and that paralyzing fear being released with his help, I was able to change my life in that way as well. Business coaching. I have had business coaching. Within recent times, I found a coach to help me develop my business. And again, that coaching was so critical because it allowed me to adopt the correct mindsets around my business. It gave me a tactical path to follow in order to make sure that I had all the correct systems and stuff in place. Currently still working on that because that was within recent times. And it was a powerful change in how I viewed my business and how I was able to manage my business. And then lastly, which is my area of coaching, which is sport coaching. I have had that type of coaching within the because basically I had to receive that coaching in order to become a personal trainer myself. I was in Orlando for 5 months, and I had to receive all of that type of physical, tactical coaching to become a personal trainer. So I am very much, I mean, having somebody who has received the whole broad spectrum of coaching, I see an intense and very, very valuable side of coaching, because coaching changes your life, period. It does. And the reason why it is, I think it is so valuable, is because um, I think, when you're a child, you naturally understand that you need help with things. You naturally understand that you can't do things by yourself. But as you come into adulthood, you recognize that you have all this stuff to do, you are so busy. We don't naturally set aside the time for self-reflection, and you think you have it all covered because you're big and you're grown and you have sense, like we Trinis like to see. So that we take our lack of knowledge or lack of ability to make changes for granted as we grow older. The other reason why I think we don't recognize how valuable coaching can be is because we're just super busy. There's so much going on, and we're on autopilot every single day. We want to get up, we just have to take care of the kids, we have our job to think about, we have all of these other things tugging at our attention. Coaching forces us to internally reflect, because your coach provides that space for you to sit and really think about what it is you really want to accomplish, what is your goal, and how are you going to get there. Whereas the day-to-day living just doesn't allow that, especially in today's world, where everything is so fast-paced and you have all these other things to do. So coaching, setting aside that investment of time and energy, really helps you zero in on what it is you want in your life and how you're going to accomplish it. And having a good coach is going to allow you to to guide you through that self-reflection. So those are the main reasons why it is I feel like a lot of us tend to not really think about coaching, not really think about how coaching can really help us. So I mean, as a personal trainer, so I'm going to get into what I do as a coach. As a personal trainer, most of our work is around tactical things. It's about, I mean, we're mostly teachers, not necessarily coaches in the sense that of what we're talking about here, because coaching is a little bit different from teaching. As personal trainers, we're mostly teachers. It's like, like you're in school, you create there's a curriculum that's created, and then, teachers help students to execute that curriculum. It's the same thing with personal training. As personal trainers, we basically take students through a curriculum of movement. So it's highly tactical and a little bit different. What has moved me into basically arenas of more coaching is on the nutrition side, because I am realizing, that people find it way more difficult to change their eating habits than to actually adopt movement. They're both equally, they're not equally, they're both difficult for some people, but when it comes to the nutrition side, it's 10 times harder. And learning to become a coach in the nutrition side has allowed me to see that a lot of people have a lot of emotional ties to their nutrition. And a lot of blocks when it comes to making changes to their nutrition that are very tied to their emotions. And as a result, I am now moving not only trying to adopt tactical ways of helping people achieve changes in their nutrition lifestyle, but also moving into energy work to try and help people release the emotional blocks around their nutrition. So so far, I've been taught all of these psychological things that we do to help people adopt habits in bite-sized pieces over time, to help them adopt better nutritional habits, and to even gradually increase their level of fitness over a period of time. So, the psychological aspect has always been there in learning how to be a personal trainer. But I am now veering into the side of energetics, in order to help people release the blocks around their nutrition. So I've only just started this journey, so I cannot claim to be an expert in any way, shape, or form because I have decided to adopt the technique of emotional freedom technique to help me in this area, and I've only just started that, so I can't really share too much in terms of my experience working with that with clients. But I am very, very excited to help people in this way because I feel like, when it comes to things like emotional eating and helping people release the things that they need to release around their lifestyle habits and being able to make those changes where they feel stuck. In order to make those changes, this is where I feel like I could grow and change and help my clients in this way. So, that's pretty much what I want to share today. With respect to my own work, I am very much geared towards helping women gain strength. I feel like most women are very, very quick to jump on the cardio bandwagon. I think it's easy for people to just, you want to start a fitness lifestyle. And the first thing they think, and I'm not discounting walking and cardio and running and all these things and like aerobics and stuff, but for me, strength training is where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to real metabolic change and helping people develop strength in mind and in body, strength is a skill and it has a learning curve. And I am always excited to help women climb that mountain of learning how to strength train properly, strength train, grow in strength training in a way that really makes huge changes to the way they think, the way they feel, the way they operate in life. Because I feel like strength training is something that does something to your mind. And not only does it just builds your confidence, it just makes you feel so much better about being able to navigate life as a whole. And so if you're someone who really wants to learn how to strength train effectively, feel free to contact me. I have a group called Power Up Your Life on Facebook, and you will get to learn about my work there. And I provide a lot of free resources, free exercise resources, recipes, motivation for people who haven't started a fitness journey and would like to adopt a fitness lifestyle. I provide a bunch of free value inside of there. So you can feel free to look me up on there and get to know me and my work. And if you're interested in hiring me, great.
Thank you so much, Karine, for sharing. So I really love that you explained how each of the different types of coaching has helped you in your life, because I really think people are now becoming aware of what a gem coaching is. So for me, talking about pretending a problem that didn't exist, well, so many of us, I for myself, I did that for about 10 years. We go into life thinking that we have to live this societal ideal, and that translates into ignoring things that doesn't fit into that ideal and just trying to live life. I'm really happy you spoke about how hiring a coach helped you through that. And then you spoke about preparing to leave your job without knowing you're preparing to leave your job, not knowing what would happen. And this is something I have found since I have really started to follow my heart and the things that appeal to me, is that you don't have everything all figured out. You don't know how things are going to unfold. But just by following your heart, things happen in a way that serve you. Whether or not it is meant to serve you, it serves you in some way. And I'm really glad you spoke about your strength training. Karine is one of the most passionate persons about lifting. I am talking to Karine 11 o'clock in the night and she's going to lift. I am not kidding. And she really has one of the best understandings to me of how every single muscle works in your body, of how your nutrition, of what you can do depending on who you are, your life, your needs in terms of fitness. She didn't speak about it, but she has different programs like 12-week programs and different workshops that she also presents in order to help women who are really interested in that fitness journey. And as she also said, she's also now exploring the emotional side of things, and I'm sure we will see great things to come from her. So, Yash, did anything stand out to you? What did you get from Kareen's contribution?
Yes, so much. I love that she talked about the different aspects of coaching, as you said, Shresh. And it what stood out to me there is like, you don't have to think that it's just one type of coaching you have to do, and it kind of touches on everything that all the other coaches share today, because you really do have to work on different areas of your life. So if right now nutrition and fitness is something that you need to work on, then you could definitely get Kareen and get a fitness coach. If you're looking at something else, you could find that type of coaching, business coaching, life coaching. It's not, you don't have to do just one your entire life. You can, based on the different seasons of your life, you can do it. And of course, I love that she's going into the emotional side of things, because I, for one, am somebody who knows that I have emotional ties to food, and I'm working through that. And I myself am learning things about emotional freedom technique. I've tried it recently, and I'm also new to it. So I'm really excited for Kareen to go deeper and share her nuggets as she always does. So definitely join that Facebook community and learn from her. She's always so gracious with sharing her knowledge and really supporting you along your journey. And I wrote this down, that she said coaching changes your life, period. And it's so true. So I just wanted to add those points as well.
Yeah, I was wondering, we had two or three persons talk about health and fitness, and most of us speak about life balance. How would you say, in case anybody's getting confused, how do you choose the coach that is right for you? What would you say to that?
Gosh, that's a really good question, Shrish. I think part of it is a bit of intuition, because when I listen to some of these stories, even especially Koreans just now, is you have to really do some self-reflection, like where you are right now, where you think you might be struggling the most. And sometimes those questions are really hard to ask yourself, because I think when I started off in coaching, I had to ask myself, what was really going through my mind, because I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. And so I would have gotten some more general coaching on how to manage these things. And then that started to unlock different things in my life, where I really wanted to have an online business. I wanted to help other persons, and that led me into business coaching. And now, because I'm realizing that I have a lot of emotional blocks that are keeping me from certain things and reaching certain levels in my business and in my life, I have started doing some coaching more on the emotional side and learning things about EFT, and getting deeper into meditation and these things to really help process those things. So I think for you to understand, you really need to sit down and ask yourself, okay, where am I struggling? Where do I think I need the most change right now? And it doesn't need to be a drastic change. It could be just, joining Kareen and doing a workout, as I think Alicia shared, showing up differently for yourself, and things will start to come into play. So really follow your intuition and see what's out there. Come to webinars like this, Google coach any type of coaching that is
Yeah.
out there. Find somebody who resonates with you, somebody who you could really relate to their story, somebody who inspires you and who you feel like could be a really great cheerleader to you. So that's my answer.
Yeah, that's so awesome, and it really speaks to that intuition and energy, like it vibrates on the same level. Because once you are looking at somebody and thinking, "Wow, this person is so awesome. I could learn so much from her." That is your answer right there.
Yes.
So next, we have a very special person. She's actually the co-host of the webinar. So
Yes.
I'm going to give her the introductions she deserves, not the little tiny one we did in the beginning. So, Yashi Carrington is a wife and mom of one and creator of Mind of Yash. She was an academic for most of her life with a BSc in Chemical and Process Engineering and an MSc in Environmental Science and Management. While she appreciates and is proud of her academic background, she always had a desire to do something more with her life and to have the means to help more people. In 2019, she started out just blogging about her life and adventures, but then pivoted towards a specific life struggle, a polycystic ovarian syndrome diagnosis. She coordinated and hosted a virtual Persevering with PICO Summit in 2021 with over 30 top speakers and experts. Yashi's mission is to use her experience, connections, coaching programs, and other resources to help other women with PCOS and other hormonal and autoimmune conditions learn how to live their best lives despite their diagnosis. While this is her niche, she has a heart for helping all women pursue their dreams and learn to love being their authentic selves. Yashi was trained in the Wholeness School as a certified wholeness strategist with wholeness coaching and situational strategy and specialization in business strategy and wholeness guide training. She is also a Zumba instructor, a Strong Nation instructor, and a member of the Advisory Council of the Caribbean Coalition for Maternal and Reproductive Health. So the floor is yours, Yash. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Shreyas. I felt a little bit like, when people are singing happy birthday to you and you're not really sure what to do with yourself. I kind of felt that way during my introduction, but thank you so much for sharing that with everyone. So hi, everyone. So I am Yashi Carrington, and I am a coach, and my journey into coaching has been quite an interesting one. I really started off trying to figure out how to make another income because I had my daughter in 2018, and she was a catalyst for a lot of things in my life. And so I started blogging, as Shrestha said in my introduction. And I thought, when I blogged about my life, people would get some nuggets because I felt like I had a lot of different experiences that I could share with persons. But what I found was that when I spoke about my journey with polycystic ovarian syndrome, that I would get a little bit more feedback from persons. I even had a friend, he reached out to me and told me that his wife really appreciated my post on it because she was struggling with it, and she felt pretty much alone on these things. And that really made me have a pivot. And I still didn't even figure out that coaching was the way I wanted to go. I just knew that I needed to do something about my experience with PCOS. I wanted to be the source of support that I wish I had when I was diagnosed way back when I was 18 years old. And so my take right now is a little different to what everybody said previously. It is sort of to do with health, but it is about how you deal with being diagnosed with a condition like this, a lifelong condition, unfortunately, and how you are able to manage and still live the life that you want. Because for me, in my journey, PCOS really took over a lot of my life, different arenas that I didn't even realize. And then I also didn't have the skills and the tools in life to know how to manage things, how to build proper friendships. Well, actually, no, I should say friendships was a bit higher on the scale of things, but other things like taking care of my mental health, emotional health, how to really have a healthy wealth mindset, how to figure out your contribution to the world. I didn't have those skills. So when I was diagnosed with PCOS, it kind of took over my world, even though I didn't realize it at first. Because when I was first diagnosed, I didn't understand what it was. So for persons who don't know what PCOS is, polycystic ovarian syndrome is a condition that affects a person's metabolism. So it's a metabolic, hormonal, reproductive condition, and it's a syndrome. So it can have so many different things that can affect you. You can have physical symptoms where you sometimes have resistant weight loss. You have excess hair in places you don't want because of those excess androgens, which are the male hormones. You could be losing the hair on your head. So, I have my hair a little open so you can see that I still have some hair. Yeah, and other things like skin tags and acne. And then there's the emotional side of things, because when you get this diagnosis, persons tell you that you might struggle to have children. And as women, sometimes, we feel like our worth is in that sometimes, and in our femininity. And sometimes when we hear these things, it's a struggle, and it can lead to a lot of other mental and emotional things. Like I dealt a lot with anxiety. I had bouts of depression. um and a lot of things that came from it, from both PCOS itself because of the condition and also not having the tools and the training that I needed to deal with it. So that's why I decided to become what I have dubbed as a PCOS positivity coach. Now, since my journey started, I was able to find so many people, first of all, so many people who have either been diagnosed with it and didn't really know how to manage it well and didn't know where to go and felt alone. Persons who felt like they had it, but they didn't really know, what they could do to manage or where they could get the right information. And then the third thing I found were people coming out of the woodwork now who understood the condition a little bit more and understood it in a way that they showed a lot more compassion and support for persons. Because let me tell you, when you get that diagnosis in the beginning, it can be very cold almost, because when I was diagnosed at 18, there was not a lot of information out there about the condition, and there was like a one size fits all approach where you were just given birth control pills and metformin and kind of sent on your way and told to come back when you're ready to have a child, right? Meanwhile, your body is experiencing all these different things. It's having changes. You might be doing quote unquote everything right when it comes to nutrition and movement, and you just are not seeing the results that you want. You can start having those emotional ties to food because it starts to become a cycle, and all these things over the time since I was diagnosed to now. Well, not to now, to maybe 4 years ago, really was affecting my life. Even in my relationship with my boyfriend, now husband, I felt unworthy because I felt like we were going to struggle to have a child. I felt like, I wasn't beautiful, I wasn't sexy, I didn't have that confidence. It was so many things and wrapped up in this thing. But I really tried to persevere through it and try to be resilient. But it's not easy to do by yourself because it's something that can make you feel very alone, can make you feel very embarrassed, very ashamed. And for many years, I wouldn't share about it. Um, Firstly, because I didn't really understand it, but because of also the embarrassment. And when I started to share, is that when I realized the vulnerability opened up this realm of healing, quote unquote. While PCOS doesn't have a cure, unfortunately, I realized that, hey, we can manage it. We could live our best lives despite it. Because I realized what happens with a lot of women who have been diagnosed with PCOS is that it kind of becomes the be all and end all. You feel like this thing is just weighing over you all the time. You give up on your dreams, honestly. You feel like you can never get the body goals or the health goals that you want, because sometimes you might try something and then you fall off the wagon. You feel like you can't maintain a relationship because of all the things that are going on in your head, because you have those anxious moments and these things. And there's so many things that can happen to you when you have a diagnosis like that can affect you, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and whatnot. So what I have been trying to do as a coach is to help these women see that they are not their diagnosis. PCOS, you are not PCOS. You can have the things that you want in life. You can achieve the goals, even though it may not be as easily as somebody who does not have that diagnosis. You can still get to a place where you feel comfortable in your body. You're managing symptoms, and even the ones you can't manage, you might have a plan, or you have even more compassion with yourself when it comes to dealing with it on a daily basis, because it's a daily struggle, it's a daily challenge. But as the coaches shared before, it's it's like having more tools in your toolkit to deal with the crisis, with the condition. And I really want to help women get there, because because of this diagnosis, we kind of develop a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of roadblocks with it. And I want to work with them to really release those things so that they can get to the place that they want to get to. And even in terms of the self image that they want to get to, because it can have a serious toll on your self image. And for in my own journey, when I started working on my self image, is where a lot of the breakthroughs happen. And while I will say it is not, the journey doesn't end, you have to really manage it on a daily basis. But when you have a coach, when you have a tribe, when you have a support system in place, it gets a bit easier. And I have been working on my coaching skills, as well as building my knowledge in terms of PCOS itself. And it's a lot out there. Like, I sometimes still don't always feel 100% confident because the information changes, but I try to stay in the know. I stay connected to different persons who have been on my summit last year, to make sure that I understand what I need to do for myself, because I'm still going through that journey as well, and what I need to know so that I could advise other persons, because it's not a one size fits all. Everybody has a different, unique journey. You have to learn how to listen to yourself, your intuition, listen to your body and what it needs, and learn how to advocate for yourself. Because sometimes when we get this type of diagnosis, we listen to the medical professionals, and we should. But if you're feeling like something is not resonating with you, or you feel like you need to ask a question or ask what are the other options, then you can do that. And sometimes coaching, you need like a coach to kind of help you get there, because I, for one, was very afraid to ask for those things. I was the one who let persons tell me what to do, and I would listen and just do it, and I would not listen to myself. And so you really need to work on those skills, work on your self-image, work on your relationship, work on your friendships, have all the different balls, as everybody talk about, the things that you juggle in your life, your health, and not just physical, but your spiritual health, your emotional health, your mental health. All of these things need to work together, so that you can really live your fullest life, to have the dreams that you want. Because even in my own journey, I stopped dreaming really. I was just, as Karine shared, I was just going and working on autopilot, doing the things that I think I needed to do to just get through the day. But it's more than that. It's about you fulfilling your potential. It's you learning from these things in your life, these challenges in your life, trying to sit with that information, trying to process those information, process those emotions, and really move forward and get to the place that you need to be. So for me, if you want to, first of all, one of the things that I want to share with the audience is that for the first 5 persons who email me, if you have been diagnosed with PCOS and you want to have a little bit more information, my summit last year touched on 5 different areas. It touched on your mindset and your mental health. It touched on specialized medical advice. It touched on fitness and nutrition. It touched on like self-care things. So definitely, if you want to have access to over 30 interviews that came from the summit last year, you email me at connect@mindofyash.com, and you could get unlimited access to all the content, so that you could start, learning about the condition and finding that there's so many other options that you can use as well. And if you want to work with me on a one-on-one basis, please email me there as well. For the rest of the year, I'm just going to be working one-on-one with you, specialized with that, to help you go through the process of really not just healing and learning how to deal with it physically, but how to deal with it mentally and emotionally. And hopefully next year I can have for you a membership where it will have my coaching, it will have some informational resources when it comes to PCOS, and also it would have my Zumba and Strong Nation classes as well. So look out for that. If you email me, let me know if you also want to be on my email list, and I will add you there. You can check me out on IG at mind_of_yash. I'm there mostly. And in my link tree there in the bio, you can join my weekly email newsletter there as well. So that's it in a sort of nutshell.
Thank you so much for all that you shared, Yash. And I want to pull out some things you spoke about. You said how you just started blogging, and then speaking about PCOS attracted persons who are going through a similar diagnosis, persons, husbands of persons who are going through a similar diagnosis. And this is something too I encourage people to do, to speak about what is passionate to them. And those who are meant to be attracted to you, will come to you. And even if you're confused about what to give in the world and what to put out, give as much as you want, and then the universe has a way of niching it down for you and telling you, okay, yes, this is the path. So I love that you spoke about that. And I also love that you said you are not your diagnosis, because this is something I completely believe. We get diagnosed with things, and then we believe that we start to advocate for that diagnosis, for us being our diagnosis. And I love that you spoke about that. And now you are helping women to understand how there is a difference between you and the diagnosis, and it's not one and the same. And I also like that you talk about the compassion that you have for women going through this. And this is something I'm always passionate about. Learning from someone who actually lived through something is so different from getting treated by someone who they understand everything you're going through experience or through what they may have read in a book. But that bedside manner, that compassion, that emotional connection with you is missing, and you really wonder if the person is treating you or they're treating the masses and you are just one. And I remember, because I was lucky enough to attend Yasha's Pico Summit. So if you're interested, please email her to get access to that summit. There's a lot of good information in there. And one of the persons on this summit was speaking about how for tests and you go to see if something would work on you with respect to your diagnosis. They're really testing to see if you fit into their program, not necessarily if what you are going through can be helped. And so sometimes when you go to a medical practitioner and then you get an answer, no, we can't help you, we take this to mean that it's hopeless. But it's just that that program may not have been suited for you, but there is something else somewhere that may be suited for what you are going through. So, Yash, you want to add anything to that? You could probably say that better than me.
No, no, that's totally true. And I mean, I like how you put it like that, and because that's really true. When you go there, it's almost like they're not listening to you all the time. And I don't want to knock it, because I think it's come a long way from since I was diagnosed. Doctors are starting to listen much more, like in abroad than in Trinidad and Tobago, but I'm seeing it coming up more. Um, but it really is supposed to be like a partnership. It's like, okay, you come to them with this, but they're listening also to, what you are going through, and not just on a physical basis, but how it's affecting you mentally, emotionally, and um, really working together to find what's the best care for you, and not just saying this one thing is worked for these people, but and it's probably might work for you, and that's not really the case. Sometimes it can make things worse for you. So it's really that partnership that we really want, and that compassion, really.
Yeah, and that I wanted to make that point because somebody may ask yourself, well, why should I work with a coach as opposed to a doctor? But it's two completely different services being provided. You definitely need your doctor. We're not saying not to go or listen to your doctor, but is the coaching is something that would help you go hand in hand with whatever you with. Having someone who understands what you're going through, someone who can help you based on what they went through and give you that emotional support as well, based on what you're going through. So I just wanted to make that clear. Make sure you're going by your doctor.
Yes, it's really like you have to have like this team of things, like
Yeah.
you have your doctor, you have your coach, you have your fitness coach, you have your nutritionist, it
Yes.
all really works together.
Yes, that is so true. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing on what your coaching does, Yash. And Yash is also a wholeness strategist with the Woman School and also offers group coaching programs in respect of the whole woman if you're interested in that.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, go ahead, Yash. Go ahead.
All right. So should I introduce the best philosopher?
That's not true.
No, just teasing because I know you'd say that. Well, finally, guys. So we have a very, very special speaker. speaker, the mind and the creator of this wonderful webinar, and that we are so grateful to be a part of. So we're going to have the lovely Shrestha taking the stage now. So I'm just going to do a quick quick intro for her. So Sreshtha stands for the emotional freedom of women. Coming from the corporate world, her mission is to help women in leadership and business live their lives understanding and honoring their emotions, understanding how to self regulate in difficult situations, and providing a bridge for them to step into their most unapologetic, free, fearless, and authentic selves. Shrestha also created and hosted a domestic abuse awareness series in 2021, the Woman Who Inspire series earlier this year on the secret power of negative emotions, and has hosted a Healing Through Divorce room on Clubhouse. So without further ado, we're going to let our wonderful host Shrestha take the stage.
Thank you so much, Yash. Thanks for everything. So, hello again, everyone, and thank you for the introduction. I am really passionate about standing for the emotional freedom of women. So, where did this come from? In a Caribbean home, I grew up like everyone else, being mentally and emotionally abused, thinking it was normal. But because I am introverted and I am extremely empathetic, I believe that it had a different toll on me than it may have had for other persons. In school, I was always described as a quiet one. I would always hear persons say, "Why Shrestha don't talk?" But what really got me by in life is luckily I was smart. I didn't talk and I wasn't social. Because I did well on tests, I was always at the top of the class or close to the top of the class. And that really helped me in my life and accomplishing the things that we are told we need to accomplish when we were small. So I went into my career blazing. I would have done my degree and my master's. And in my job, I always did very well. I had good performance reviews, and I started coaching people in 2010 as part of my managerial role, and always had a good results with that. But what was suffering was my personal life. I didn't have a strong sense of worth, and the thing is, I had a strong sense of worth academically. I knew what I could do, I knew what I could accomplish. I was very confident. But in my personal relationships, I didn't value who I was. I really felt that I just needed to settle for what was available. And I really felt that I needed to be submissive in order to be successful in a relationship. Early in my life, I apologized profusely for my emotions. I remember one of my first boyfriends apologizing to him for being so emotional. And only now I realize what my life journey was grooming me to be. So, with that low sense of self worth, I married someone who I deeply loved, but really wasn't the best choice for me. And as one of the speakers said, I believe it was Kareen, I lived a life where I ignored what wasn't going well in my home and pretended it didn't exist and found other things to do. And that led me to becoming a Zumba instructor, which a lot of you know that I am. I used to spend countless hours by my friend in her studio. Not that I had a class to teach, but I just did not want to be home. And I didn't realize that I was really neglecting who I was and not fulfilling who I am by giving myself permission to not admit that I was not happy. So this continued for a long while until the birth of my daughter. And at that point in time, I really decided that I needed to create a better life for her. Because when my daughter was born, I had to be home. I couldn't run away and hide and lie by my friend. I had to be home. So with that, and very difficult, I decided to file for divorce. I loved my husband when I decided to file for divorce. I was extremely anxious. And with that anxiety, I decided to go to a psychologist. Seeing a psychologist was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. And I did have to sacrifice because, we don't see that investment as something that's worth it. So, of course, the first thought was I don't have money to see a psychologist, but I really decided to sacrifice, and that was one of the best decisions I made. Seeing a psychologist helped me understand so much about myself that I didn't know, and it helped me to connect the fact that what I went through when I was small was actually informing how I behaved in my married life. I was so scared of abandonment. I remember with one of my first boyfriends, he would be walking away from me, and I would just feel like my heart was sinking. He just went home, but I was dying inside, feeling that this person was leaving my life. And that I actually connected that to when I was small, being threatened to be put out of the car. And something that we don't realize is the things that hurt us most is when the people that we deeply love threaten us. So if someone random was threatening me to put me out of the car, to maybe to give me licks, it may not have impacted me. But when it's your mother, or when it's your uncle or your aunt who you believe to be the ones who really care for you, it really impacts you. And I connected, that was one of the things that I connected, that was like a wow moment for me. But I connected so much more. And from that, I moved into really doing things that always appeal to me. So again, when I was small, because I was so emotional, I hated to see women being mistreated. I grew up in a home, most Caribbean homes, where the woman is supposed to be submissive. She's not really, she's supposed to stay home. Or if she has a job, it's supposed to be a job that's accepted, like a teacher. And that really made me believe that women was so much more. They could do so much more. And I didn't subscribe to that. And then in 2016, when one of my best friends from high school, an extremely intelligent girl, a scholarship winner, told me that her husband was poking her and verbally abusing her, I decided I needed to bring some sort of awareness to that. I knew nothing about mental and emotional abuse. I just knew that it was wrong and my friend did not deserve this. From that, I did a Know Your Options event, a physical event in 2016. It was not well attended, but it helped me to understand that women in these situations, they don't like persons to know that they are going through this. They feel ashamed. I did not realize that. And because of that, with COVID, when Yash actually invited me on one of her programs, I got the idea to do a virtual program, because the virtual program would have given women the ability to view the content without anybody else knowing that they were viewing the content. And from that, my domestic abuse awareness series was born. From that series, I started to discover that I really liked and was really interested in helping women on a mental and emotional level, because the series really focused on the mental and emotional abuse as opposed to the physical, sexual, and economic. And just by chance, I would say, or maybe my life path was going how it should be, I would have eventually met a coach through a webinar similar to this, and was just completely enthralled by the fact that I could actually use to help someone else. And this is what I really love to do. I like helping people, and I always had good results helping persons whom I worked with. That led me to do another series called the Woman Who Inspire series, which showed that our negative emotions are really messengers. And now I'm doing all of these things not knowing I'm going to be here today, but I was just following my heart and trying to show women that the things that we were shamed for, the things that we were blamed for, the things that we thought made us wrong in some way were actually little gems. And if we honored them, we would actually be able to clear a path to move forward. After I did that series, I started a coaching program with Annie Lala and Evan Pagan. And Annie Lala, she just blew my mind. She was talking about emotions and saying all of these things that I believed to be true, but I was scared, afraid that no one would care. And she had this program with 200 people enrolled, just soaking up everything that she had to see. In addition to that, someone I didn't really know in work had asked me to do some presentations, and I got such good feedback from it that my confidence started to grow in terms of going into this business that I have now, the one-on-one coaching. So coming into now, having used my experience from childhood to now and understanding how much my childhood affected me, understanding how all the emotions we buried under to just become this person that we think we need to become in order to survive, understanding how to honor those things and how to clear anything that is bad and give myself permission to move on is what I'm also really passionate about, helping women to build that bridge to where they need to be to get unstuck, to if you are going through overwhelm, if you feel guilty about dealing with your children, sometimes you talk to your child and then you feel so guilty that maybe you shouted at the child or you lost your temper. All of these things really impacted me, and I learned how to regulate for myself. And now I really love teaching other women how to regulate for themselves, self regulate through different techniques. Yash spoke about EFT. There are many breathing techniques. I basically use the breathing and neurolinguistic programming. And I have learned how to use all of these things in order to help women clear their negative emotions like sadness, anger, bitterness, jealousy, anything like that. Clear it, honor it, ask what is the intelligence behind it, hence the emotional intelligence coach, and then give yourself permission to move on and to let into your life all that is due to you. And in this, you become your most unapologetic free self. And why I really love doing this work is when my clients say things like, Sreshtha, I realize my goal now is self acceptance, not money. It's self acceptance. The thing is, we are trained to believe that a happy life first comes money. But I believe a happy life first comes inside. It comes from your emotions. It comes from feeling like the best you could be. And when you feel that way and you follow your path mentally to what that feeling is telling you, all the other things will fall in place. Your relationships, the abundance in terms of what is around you, and the money, the friendships, the partner that you want, the relationships in your home, with all of these things, I strongly believe emanate from your emotions. Carolyn Mice, in her book Anatomy of the Spirit, speaks about how every single thing we have ever felt in our lives is recorded in our body, in our cells. And if we don't deal with that, what happens is it manifests into disease. And Arlene spoke about chronic disease. There are many different angles to different things, but I strongly believe dealing with your energy and your emotions and how that translates into your life will give you that clear path going forward. So I have several programs. I have a Career Diva Ignite program, I have a Career Diva Activation program, and a Career Diva Empress program. Each of the programs, of course, is different levels, but basically in these programs, what I do is I help to activate your desire and your dreams, help you whatever it is you need or want to do is possible. I give you what I call emotional goddess clearing. I clear all the negative emotions for you, the sadness, the anger, the grief, everything that is holding you back. And I carry you into a mentally opulent state. You know, that state of conflict in your mind. I want this, but oh my gosh, if I have this, this might happen. End up in what we call parts conflict. I clear that up for you. In some of the programs, I go into ancient wound healing, clearing karmic debts, helping you with family origin wounds, and how to energetically protect yourself from other persons, from bad energy, how to create energetic force fields around you. I also do a little bit of wealth activation, help you to honor all your naughty pleasures because everything has a place. So it's okay to drink the coffee. And I also help you understand how to lead your family from an state. and crown you into becoming your most gorgeous diva. So these are what I offer. This is what I offer. I'm really passionate about emotional intelligence and healing, and those are my programs. So I'm gonna invite back Yash and Ruth. Is it okay if I call you back to close? Is that okay? Okay. Yeah, you are still and Arlene. Okay, go ahead, Yash.
Thank you so much, Shrish. I just love everything that you shared. Something that resonates with me because I'm like that as well is how you were always doing things that appeal to you, following your heart. And I think, sometimes because of the things that we've learned and Trish taught talked about that and some of the other coaches as well. It's like when you have those experiences in your life, it is recorded in your body, or you do have, you do develop something where it kind of hinders you from being your true self because of maybe something that you were ashamed about or something that happened in your childhood and these things. But when you really deal with the emotions and also follow your heart, I think those two things are so powerful right now in my own journey that I think about, because if I didn't follow my heart in certain areas, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I'm sure all you, Shresh, and all the other coaches could really relate to that as well. And also, one of the running themes is that, using those experiences and finding what the lesson is, finding what the information is. And just in terms of like having the other running theme is about how much coaching, like these people, we are all speaking from a place of experience. Coaching really changed our lives to the point where we just want to be able to share that with other persons. And I think that is really the key, because when you have that breakthrough in your own life, is like you can't keep it to yourself. It's just like you see people and you just can't shut it off. It's like, oh my god, if this person just did this, get this coach, work with me, or or even work with Trisha. Because sometimes I would meet somebody and be like, oh my god, if they just look at Trisha's Woman Who Inspires series, or or watch Kareen's specific or Alicia's specific episode, they could get all that they need to just start the journey. And the other thing that you shared, Trish, in terms of taking action, sometimes that is so scary sometimes to just take action. And I just honor the woman here for being able to take that action and take the step towards becoming the person that they want to be, to make the impact that they want. But sometimes, even if you're afraid to take action, let me tell you, once you start doing those personal development things, when you start processing emotions, looking at the energetics as some of the coaches shared tonight, getting that coach, that's when the things start to flow. And if you continue to follow your heart and intuition, there's no limits. Honestly, like I feel so inspired by what everybody shared. Even whatever limiting blocks I had before this session, like it's out.
Yes, that's so. I love how you summarized everything, Yash. And I'm gonna invite back the coaches who stayed um, back onto the live and just ask what is one thing that absolutely stood out for you guys today. Ruth, I'd ask you first.
I really honor and I really appreciate that everyone has taken their struggle and turned it into a strength and not just kept that for themselves. They want to share it with the world to make an impact, to make a difference. And I think that is probably one of the most admirable things. And I think that it's also something that humanity really needs now for us to really connect, learn from each other. And that's how we're able to evolve and grow.
Yes, that is so true, and that is something well, you would know. I totally relate to Ruth and Arlene because that is something I feel so strongly about, using your struggles as gifts to the world. And Arlene, I'm gonna ask you if you'd like to share one thing that stood out for you today.
Hi, everyone. Yes,
Arlene, are you there? Yes.
so appreciate. I appreciate all of you because it just shows that everybody has issues. Everyone around all these issues within themselves, and it's so easy to get help, to just reach out, to have a you need to in your life, and it just brings about so much transformation. And I'm so happy that all of you have taken the issues I had and made it into a passion to help others. Because that's what we're here for, to really not just help ourselves, but to help everyone around us. So I really appreciate all of you.
Yes, thanks. And I see Alicia and Karine came on. Alicia, would you like to share any closing remarks?
I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Um, listen to me. I've learned so much today collectively from everyone. So one value I add as a coach is around lifestyle and leadership. There's so many other elements to it, much more. Um, there's so much scope to this, and what it did, how valuable our work is. When I heard all the experiences and to provide, um, there's no doubt the value of coach, and and we need to kind of get more persons on board. You know, I know needs. It may not be about just nutrition and building a healthy life. I have to put them onto somebody else in this group because their needs are different, and I can't fill that capacity. So it's been very, very informative, and yeah.
Yeah, and that is one of the reasons I like, all of us in the community, because we can't deal with everything, and we're not trained to deal with everything, and knowing someone you can refer someone to, because so many times as a fitness instructor I always get, do you have someone you could refer me to? Usually I put them on to Kareen, because I'm not a PT, but a lot of people know me from fitness because I teach Zumba. So yeah, that is so important, just knowing other persons and knowing what they bring and being do, and knowing that you could always refer other persons to them. And Kareen, do you want to share anything that resonated with you, or any closing remarks?
I just want to say thanks, first of all, Trish, for giving us this platform. I think it was pretty awesome. You are so great at organizing stuff. Both you and Yash, actually, so good at bringing people together to basically share your passion. Because I mean, really and truly, when people become coaches, it's really about, because a lot of us, well, most of us become coaches because of the fact that we've seen so much benefit in our own lives from taking certain courses of action. And I think the reason why we become coaches is because we really want to see other people benefit from what we've benefited from. And a lot of that comes from our love for people, right? Our love for what we do, and just wanting to share that with the world. And I think, that is not necessarily to toot our own horns, but at the end of the day, that is a good thing to want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, wanting to better the lives of others is something that is a very noble um, quest. And I just want to say you all are awesome. And I learned a lot from everybody here. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity. And I look forward to being able to contribute in this way again in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karina. And I mean, I am also grateful, both Yasha and I are also grateful to all of you. And I hope it's something we could continue and get bigger and bigger as we continue to raise awareness of our services and our gifts to other persons as we go on our journey. So, Yash, I'll save the best for last, as you said for me. What closing remarks do you have, Yash?
Gosh, I don't know what more I could say. I just feel such a renewed joy about this. And I just really want persons to understand the importance of this. And it's not even about us. It is about us making an income from it as well, but it's also about you all learning how to invest in yourself for the betterment of yourself and for your life and the people around you and your environment. Because let me tell you, in my experience, like, I now when I think about it, it was so hard for me at first to just make that initial investment, in the sense that it was something I really, really wanted to do. I was like, when I listened to when I came across my first coach and first program, it's like, okay, I know I need this, but it was very hard for me to take that first step. And that's because of all the things that I've learned. It's because of what I've seen. When your mom says, it's like, you spend so much money on that, like you hear all these opinions and these things, and then you start to think that you're not worthy of those things. I think Shrestha said it in her presentation as well. You can let into your life all that you deserve. And I feel like we've learned the opposite. We've learned to kind of hold back, because either we don't deserve it, or we are fearful on potential sometimes. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'd be like, I want to do this thing, but it seems so scary. What's gonna come with this? How is it gonna change my life? And we kind of think of those negative things. But if you really take that first step, it kind of just unlocks this door to the point where this year I told myself, I was like, Yash, you cannot invest in another thing. Finish what you're doing. Finish, do this coaching, stick with it. And then, as life takes you on, you would find something else. And as we shared today, different seasons of your life would bring different needs, different types of coaching, different types of support that you need. And really understanding yourself, because I think that's another theme from what person said, like, trying to really have that self acceptance, have that intuition, have, as Ruth shared, one life, the life balance, the wholeness, the integration. Like, it's okay for us to be selfish, because clearly, like, that's where the magic happens, when we do these things and we make ourselves and we heal the things. I think Dr. Wright talked about, toddlers walking around, um or adults walking around with this kind of toddler mindset. And I was one of those, feeling like I always needed to be perfect, because I needed that external validation. I needed somebody to say, you did great. Otherwise, if somebody didn't tell me that, I wouldn't know. But then on the other side, you still feel like you're not supposed to ask for help, which I think Karine spoke about. Sometimes you feel like, children naturally, as you say, need help, but sometimes we feel like we shouldn't. And really is to unlearn all these different things. And coaching, I really think, is a way for us to start doing that, because we're not going to provide the answer for you, but we're going to help you figure out that for yourself. And that in itself is such a powerful thing, when you realize that you can, as Trisha said, self-regulate, or you could unlock your potential and have your dream. It really starts with you figuring out how to do that for yourself. And that's the kind of services that we can provide.
Yeah, you'll see why I have the best co-host, right? She just summarized everything for me. So thank you so much, Yash. And that is, I love that you spoke about the investment, because we are trained by media in respect of what it's okay to invest in. It's okay to invest in playing mass. It's okay to invest in a big party. It's okay to invest in a vacation, which are all, to me, I describe all of those things are good. I do play mass, but temporary emotional fixes. And to really get the transformation that you want, just think of, instead of investing in those things for 1 year, for 3 months, just invest in yourself. 3 to 5 months. I'm not sure how long these ladies' programs are, but it's less than a year. Just think about making that switch from what media says is okay and what is going to give you a temporary fix to something that is really going to transform your life in a really big way. So thank you so much, Yash. Thank you to all of my special guests. We look forward to see you again. We will be doing this again. Please, if you watch on the replay, feel free to share. Let me know what you liked, what you would like to hear more of, so we could better plan to serve you in the future. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.
Bye, ladies.
Okay, bye.